Well, good day, viewers, and welcome to another edition of In the Mix Africa. You guys are used to seeing Ashwin Berry's face, but for this episode, he brought me in. I know it's the international break, and we do not have some English Premier League games going on, but we do have the World Cup qualifiers in Africa, in Europe, in Asia, so it's about to be very exciting. I have a very, very interesting guest with me. Many would say he's an activist. Many would say he's one of the biggest African star supporter. Others would say he's a sports analyst, and I would say he's a jack of all trades, but we'll get to find out more about him as we dive further into the show. And one of the most exciting things about In the Mix Africa, Patricia on the other side, making sure that we are fed. So we are looking forward to seeing how that breaks down as well. I'm looking forward to seeing what she's making for us in the kitchen today. So please hang tight as we get right into the action.
Taking flight has never been easier. Paratus is introducing Skyfi internet packages with speeds that will have you reaching for your seatbelts, starting from $500 Namibian excluding VAT per month, with speeds reaching up to 10 megabits per second. There's even a prepaid option where you can top up your Skyfi internet for just $15 Namibian per gigabyte. No contracts, no fuss. Visit your nearest Paratus branch to find out more, or go to paratus.africa/Namibia to sign up online.
Always prepared, Paratus.
So like I did say, viewers, for this one, I am joined by Shaun. Shaun, thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be on the show today. Tell us how you're feeling and how you're doing.
Oh, thank you very much. It's my first time. It's a wonderful platform. I'm fantastic as always here.
And I think I got it wrong somewhere there when I said Okaserandu instead of Black Africa.
Yeah, that's what happens when you are absent. You see, our team Black Africa is absent for a long time now. Everything is aligned to African stars, but that's not the problem because I'm a Namibian football fan. All in all, our team is lingering there in lower divisions, but we'll be back soon.
I think I wanted to emphasize. Let's emphasize on Black Africa. You know, Black Africa was a team known as a team that distracts, that beats other teams, a very dominant force in the English, not in the English Premier League, but in the Premier League, of course. Tell me, do you see the brighter days coming, or do you think it's still a long way to go for Black Africa to go back to that status that everyone knows them for?
Look, it's the most successful team locally in terms of accolades and achievements. Namibian football there is a missing puzzle as long as Black Africa is not there. So definitely we are going to self-correct, we are going to come back. We have our differences there internally, but the time will come, we'll be back and we'll compete. And it's good to see African stars doing well in our absence, but I hope we just come just in time before they reach our record of the titles of Premier League.
Yeah. Are they still far off?
Yeah, there are 3 titles or 2 titles away, I think.
Okay.
And the way African stars is going, I don't think any chance, because Black Africa African Stars was the only one challenging Black Africa over the years. So that is what we are known for. But we'll be back. We'll be back, yeah.
Well, I hope, like in football, the ball is round, so anything can happen. Yeah. And we'll hopefully see you guys back at the top where you are used to being. Yeah. Okay, for the viewers that do not know who you are, can you just give us a breakdown of who you are, what you do, and what you're usually into?
Yeah, my name is Shaun Asprilla Gariseb. I'm a social justice activist, a sports analyst, and a sports enthusiast. I do many things. I'm also a civil servant, but sports is something that is part of us. Sports is everything we live for. That's why what happens, especially locally, and on what we all consume, international football and so forth, defines our lives. So, in a nutshell, that's what I am. I don't want to be known for agitating sports authorities because sports must be a peaceful space. So, we try to enjoy sports and just basically, that's what it is.
Okay, and to also touch on, you are busy with a podcast. Can you give us info on how that's going?
Podcasting is something we have been doing. We started doing maybe 3-4 years ago with some of the people also in the media space. It's a challenging space when you are doing it the way we were doing, because we're self-funded, self-defined, self-directed.
Okay.
Podcasting, very interesting because one learned a lot during those times, because you were dealing with a lot of topics, a lot of guests, various issues in local sports. But very interesting, good space. Podcasting is a good space, helps with the development of sports. raising awareness, informing people.
Yes.
That is what it was about. So we had Sports Talk Weekly was the program's name, and then we later changed it to Off the Bench. So lately it's there, but we have stopped for the time being because, like I said, some of the guys are also part of media entities. So it was also conflicting, but we are just looking to come back stronger. I won't be at the forefront of it anymore because of because sometimes I'm also agitating these people I'm supposed to be interviewing.
Yes.
So we are just trying to find somebody that will be suitable for our objective in terms of what we want to do with that podcast, because we were just growing, and we were about to also interview people from outside the country, and that was our direction.
Okay, well, that's very lovely to hear. Now, okay, let's focus on, look, I know the English Premier League is on a break, but that's something that all football lovers watch closely. Who do you support in the Premier League, and how has your team been doing so far with the 3 games that we've seen in the opening stages?
Yeah, on social media, I'm well known for being a Liverpool supporter.
Happy days, happy days.
Yeah, no, happy days. That is who we are. Liverpool is we are now back where we belong. I'm also known for being a disliker of Man United.
Unfortunately, I'm a Manchester United fan, but okay.
Yeah, but that is what it is. All of us consume that European football. I support Liverpool. We have started off very well, made major signings.
Big signings.
We missed out on Mark, but Isak is there, and I'm sure you are shivering.
Liverpool fans are very big-hearted. You guys missed out on Mark Guehi, but that's not a problem because, I mean, you guys got £125 million striker, Alexander Isak. Do you think he's gonna win you guys another trophy this season?
No, he's a top quality player in Liverpool. The transition was smooth from Jurgen Klopp's team to what Arne Slot is doing. And you could see even last season with what he was doing, he's just gradually bringing in his players. And it's a young squad mixed with experience of Van Dijk and Alisson. In the way he's done it is so good. I like the transition that usually is difficult. You would attest. You guys are suffering, and you still suffer for the next 5 years. You already start. You want to fire the coach already. So transition is not easy.
Yeah.
But Liverpool has gotten it right, and that is the most important thing, because you can also see what's happening to Man City. When players are facing out, bringing in new players is not an easy thing.
It's always tough.
You can't just bring in 5 or 3 young players. You must bring quality players that will compete at that level consistently.
Yeah,
that's not an easy thing.
Sure.
And Liverpool has gotten it right. We're going to whip you again, home and away, the way we have whipped Arsenal. So that is Liverpool.
I think
we must get used to it.
You know, Ashton is an Arsenal supporter, and when he watches this show, I think you're going to make him very happy because he also doesn't like Manchester United. But okay, cool. We'll keep that for later. You and Patricia have something in common because she's also a big Liverpool supporter. I so believe but it's still supporter. Let's call it that. But cool. We'll be going for a break, and then after that, we'll be testing your skills on the other side of the table to see how you can help up in the kitchen.
Well, I'm fantastic.
So hang with us.
Welcome viewers to my Bri Corner, and Shaun moved over here so that we can get our chakalaka chicken wings ready for Brian to taste. I know Brian always gets excited when the fire is nice and the coals are ready. So Shaun, have you ever done something like this on the fire before?
I think something close. Or more. Yeah, but yeah, I come close to that, having done something like this.
Okay, so our marinade is here, and on the side we have a special dip, but I'll tell you guys more about the dip later, mainly because I winged it. I don't know what's in it. I'll have to just refresh my memory. But Shaun, while we're here, we know you're here, you're a sports lover, you love football, and I heard some great things that you're also a Liverpool supporter.
Yes.
So that is wonderful to hear. Our food will be amazing. But being in the sports industry for so long, of course there has to be a passion for it. So I just want to find out, where does that passion for the sports, for the game come from?
No, look, we grew up with football, you know. In Namibia, most young children, we grow up playing sports. So I grew up with football. My nickname is Asprilla. That is a Colombian football player. That just tells you that football has been. But football is not the only thing. We follow all kinds of sports. We follow cricket, we follow box, we follow rugby, whatever we can.
Anything, everything.
Everything that is sports. So sports is part of us. I think it's a Namibian or an African thing to just love sports.
To love sports.
Yeah. Yes.
Would you say that football, in this terms, like you said, you follow all types sports codes, especially from the ones that are mainly Namibian? Would you say that football is the number one, or is there another sports code that comes close or maybe even tops it?
Football is by far the most popular and number one sport. You can't do anything. I think it's because of the exposure, but it's also a very fun sport. Ne? Football is a very fun sport, and I was a very good football player. You see from the way I'm maneuvering around these pieces.
Yeah.
I have ability and very skillful.
I can see that you know exactly when to turn what chicken wing. So if we had to take, of course you said football is number one, but if we had to take football out of the picture and someone came here today and said you had to pick one sport that is not football, and that's the sport that you can either play or watch for the rest of your life, what would it be? We're taking out football for now.
It will be rugby, I think.
Rugby.
It will be rugby, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I watch sports equally, but it will be rugby. It will be rugby because rugby is the most popular sport to us after football.
Yeah, it's true.
I think, yeah.
It's true. Rugby does come first, second, depending on who you ask. It's between rugby and football when it comes to Namibia. Not underestimating our other sports. Of course, we have great national teams when it comes to hockey and netball and cricket and all of the other sports codes, but our chicken is starting to get a little bit of color. So we're going to finish up here, and then we're going to go take a visit at Short Corner, see what's happening in our neighboring country. So viewers, do not move a muscle. We will be right back, and you get to see what Ashwin, we miss you too much now. Brian thinks of our chakalaka chicken wings. So we'll be right back.
So, viewers, I'm not with Javon Wilson today. He will not be joining us for this segment. So I will be guiding you guys through the weekend's games, and then maybe you can make yourself some money. I know it's not English Premier League, nor is it the German Bundesliga, nor is it Serie A, but the World Cup qualifiers tend to be very interesting sometimes with these international games, and they can be quite easy to predict. So if we have a look at some of the games that are scheduled to take place on Friday, tonight. These are some games that I look forward to very interestingly. Starting off, we have Slovenia taking on Sweden. All of the games kick off at 9:15. Slovenia taking on Sweden. Switzerland play Kosovo. Greece take on Belarus. Iceland take on Azerbaijan. Moldova play Israel. Israel have been doing really well so far. Montenegro take on Czech Republic, and then Denmark take on Scotland. So those are just some of the games that we will be having for today. Now, to go through my bet slip, I'm very confident in this one. I might make a few changes to this bet slip, but it will be coming up on the screen shortly, and then we can maybe break it down together, and you guys can tell me what you think in the comments, and then maybe you can make yourself some money. So I'm going big. It's either you go big or you go home. So I'm starting off the bet slip with 300 Namibian dollars for 7.55 odds. The win comes in at 2,267 Namibian dollars. So you see the code at the bottom. Copy the code. 03272787. Copy that code, and then hopefully you can make yourself some cash. You can play around with the games. One of the games that stand out for me has to be the Zimbabwe against Benin. That game kicks off at 6 o'clock, and the odds for Zimbabwe to win this game comes in at 4.2. Now, as a man of numbers, as a man who likes to compare numbers, I think the bookies have got this one wrong, because Zimbabwe have a couple of Premier League players, they have a couple of players that play in Europe, and Benin is not really up there. So 420 is a bargain. If I had $1,000, I would definitely put down that $1,000 on Zimbabwe solely and trust them to win. I mean, have Munetsi, who plays for Wolves, so hopefully we can make some money there. But to go through the rest of the games, South Africa takes on Lesotho, so I'm expecting South Africa to come out victorious in that match. South Africa's international team is really not that great. The football team is not as great as the rugby team, but I expect them to push through and beat Lesotho. Egypt take on Ethiopia. Nothing to be stressed about there, because I'm sure Egypt will come out on top with the likes of Omar Mamouche and Mohamed Salah. Ivory Coast there on also, I'm rooting for them to win that game against Burundi. Ivory Coast won the AFCON, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm trusting them to come out on top there. And then one of the games that you can play around with has to be Morocco versus Niger. That one is also going to be very interesting. We have the likes of Achraf Hakimi, who plays for Morocco. So that game is going to be very interesting. But that's my bet slip for the weekend, viewers. Copy the games, put yours together. If you don't like it, you can mix and match, and hopefully we make ourselves some money for the weekend. Looking forward to seeing how the games go. We are still rooting for Namibia to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. This will be the first time that Namibia does qualify. That's if they do qualify, but things are not looking too bad at the moment. Yes, and those are your betting tips for the weekend. But for now, let's get back to the food. Okay, one thing I love about In The Mix Africa is we always make sure to include the whole Africa and not just Namibia. So our correspondent from Zambia, Mike Sichula, is going to sort us out with some content. So please stay tuned for him.
Yes, quite a good news, because Fashion Sakala has been missing from the Chipolo since last year, after he made a public outburst on Israeli coach Avram Grant. He accused Avram Grant of working with his agent, also an Israeli agent, to select players who should come to the national team. So Fashion said this agent was also enticing him to be under his brand, so that he can be facilitating his global movements in the world of football, which Fashion refused. But the coach explained that Fashion, the way he come out, if he's not going to apologize, he will never play for the national team. So there was a huge public outcry. Fashion Sakala called him and apologized. But what the people have seen is whether that is true, or because there's a new Football Association of Zambia executive. This is what it is. So we are expecting that when Fashion comes to the team, he's probably going to apologize to the team members, because he also did accuse them of not having the quality to be called to the national team, because some of them were just specialized in scoring tap-ins. That's something that also divided the coaching fraternity.
Okay, so we have come to that point of the show, that my favorite stage of the show, my favorite time of the show, when the food is almost ready, they are starting to plate, and we are getting ready to munch. But Shaun, before we do get into the food, I saw you were very involved there. Just tell me, football-wise, before we do talk about the fixtures that are scheduled for the weekend, for the Brave Warriors, I don't think we've ever been so close to ever qualifying for World Cup, or maybe we have. But with how things are looking right now, how do you feel if we do qualify? What would that mean for the country?
No, it will definitely be a great thing. The last best performance we had was reaching the last 16 of the AFCON, and you know how that did as far as rankings and things are concerned, marketing of players.
Yeah,
so for Brave Warriors, if they are to qualify, it will mean a lot to the country. I think it's one of the best shots that we have had, looking at how the games are going, and how it will end in October, which is a great month. Actually, we were going to end with Tunisia in October.
So you think?
So that I really think it will be a great it will be a great thing. Even if we don't end on top of the group, we stand a chance of going into the playoffs. And the playoffs is like dice.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Is the best four. And as currently we are amongst the best four.
Yeah.
Or if we can upset Tunisia in the last game, we can be there. It's maybe a week or two after. Oh no, it's 2 days, because I think it's on the 13th, 2 days after we are hosting the Proteas in Windhoek at a very momentous occasion where for the first time the Eagles will be playing the Proteas, opening as an international stadium for cricket.
Yes.
So it will be a great month for the country all in all. So I really hope that happens, or we come close to something like that, because for players to be seen at that, and then when the Brave Warriors qualify, more players are exposed to scouts.
Yeah. Wow, Shaun, that was a very beautiful answer with the Protea. You're very updated. That just shows it. Patricia, we have to love you every time we see you. So, you were involved. You guys were busy in the kitchen with Patricia. The fire was hot. So maybe you can let us know as to what you guys have prepared for us here.
Yeah, with of course with minimal help from her. I'm just joking. Everything you see here. That's why I deliberately kept this so that you can just know where it's coming from. I was helpful.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just see how we enjoy it. It looks very delicious.
Yes. Let's not waste time.
Thank you. Where I was struggling, she was helping me.
She was helping you.
And vice versa.
Yes,
And vice versa. Okay, while you give us the taste test, let us know how it tastes like. Perry, just tell me, what concoction went on here? What did you put together with the sauce, the dip, and all of
Let's
that?
see if I remember what I did here.
Okay.
Both involved yogurt. Okay.
Both
So
involve
yogurt is your
yogurt.
best friend in this. So it's a chakalaka chicken. So you basically have the chakalaka, some yogurt,
Okay.
some oil, some chili flakes. You know, I like my chili. Some curry powder, salt and
there's no
pepper.
Patricia without chili. There's no chili without Patricia. We've
Exactly.
understood that now.
Exactly. Salt and pepper, and that was about it. You mix it together. I added some garlic because I think garlic goes well with about anything and everything.
Okay.
With the sauce, it's about almost the same thing, except there was no chakalaka in there.
Okay.
And it has mint as well. So
Ooh.
it's a dip. So you dip the chicken in there and you
It's
enjoy.
delicious. You can taste the
Look,
the
I'm
mix.
a
Taste it
big
with the
fan.
dip first.
I'm a big
Don't
fan
spoil.
of chicken wings. I'm probably one of the best chicken wing makers in Namibia.
So I've heard.
Also, so I'm gonna deep dive. I like ranch on my chicken, so if we the dip works.
But
It reminds me of a Roko Mama's ranch. And I love it.
Mamas, you have some competition here.
Patricia, you always make sure we have the good food. But before we do let you leave, before we do cut off the show, Namibia is approaching that stage where we won't have the likes of Peter Shalulile, Dion Otto. Those guys are reaching their penultimate levels of football. So after those two guys, do you still think, let's say if we don't qualify for this World Cup, do you still think we have a chance after this, or is this like our best shot?
Oh, this is the best shot, but in future nothing is impossible.
Okay.
Even before Shalulile, we thought we won't have the likes of Shifute, the likes of Geros again. Young players are coming up. We just need to be deliberate about how we develop these kids and just guide them into becoming what's possible, what has happened to Shalulile, what's happened to Dion Hoto, and many players like Raina Nyambe who are overseas. It's not impossible. We have young players coming in different ranks in Europe. There's young players at Ajax Amsterdam, and so it's possible. We just need to fix our development structures, and then it will work for us.
Very, very well said. Okay, thoughts on the chicken that you helped prepare? Is it good? Is it
That's
nice?
why I'm also asking. I wonder why are you asking me questions when I want to eat?
Well, viewers, there you had it from Shaun. Shaun doesn't want to be bothered with no long stories, long questions. But for this Friday, we brought you in the mix. Patricia brought us lovely food. The dip, I'm going to have to indulge once more. But from us, that's all the time that we do have for you. Saturday, we have some football matches. On Sunday, we have some football matches. International games. There's no Premier League, but there's international games. Who you support, that's up to you. Who do you support, by the way?
Internationally?
Yes.
Namibia.
Okay, apart from Namibia. It's okay, let's cut out Namibia for now.
Of course, South Africa and in Europe, I'm always supporting France.
Always France. Patricia, do you support anyone?
Who do you support?
I support France.
I support France.
Okay, well, viewers, there you have it. We all support France. But from the team, Brian Munango here, Shaun, and Patricia Coutier, it is goodbye.
Bye-bye.